Lemonada.
This episode is brought to you by Care Scout. One thing I've noticed is that life has a way of bringing new responsibilities when we least expect them. As our kids become more independent and our parents get older, many of us find ourselves trying to balance work, family, and figuring out the best way to support the people we love.
That's why Care Scout created the nation's first comprehensive aging care platform. Think of them as an expert partner to help your family find, fund, and plan for quality long-term care through a network of rigorously vetted providers, personalized nurse-led aging care plans, and guidance that helps older adults own their aging journey and live well on their own terms. You don't have to carry the burden alone. Bring clarity and confidence back to your family's journey. Go to carescout.com/happier today to discover a clear, bright path forward. carescout.com/happier. Here's an interesting question. What if one small act of generosity became one of the most meaningful parts of your month? At Children Incorporated, sponsoring a child helps remove the barriers that poverty creates so children can stay in school and build brighter futures.
And perhaps that's the surprising thing about generosity. It changes everyone involved. Learn more at childrenincorporated.org. That's childrenincorporated.org. Hello and welcome to Happier, a podcast where we talk about strategies and solutions for making our lives happier, healthier, more productive, and more creative. This week, we'll talk about why you might do a self-stakeout, and we suggest a helpful mnemonic if you have trouble converting Fahrenheit into Celsius. I'm Gretchen Rubin, a writer who studies happiness, good habits, and human nature. I'm in my little home office in New York City, and joining me from Los Angeles, in the last month of her off-white delight, is my sister Elizabeth Kraft.
That's me, Elizabeth Kraft, a TV writer and producer living in LA. And yeah, Gretchen, I have to admit, I'm going to be very ready to wear other stuff besides white.
It's very fun, and then it runs its course. Okay.
Yes.
That's why you pick a summer color.
Yes. September will bring a lot of black.
That's right. Okay, I love it. Before we jump in, we got some updates.
Yes, Sam said, I love your advice to set new traditions. They add magic and richness to a family culture and have been a focus for me this year. I set a 2026 intention to start new traditions. I welcomed my second son in November, and something about having two children made me feel like it was officially time to install some ongoing family traditions. Maybe because it's twice as fun, or maybe because there's something nice about imagining them reminiscing together decades from now. Two new traditions specifically feel like they will last year after year. First, on the last day of school, I picked up my oldest son and we went to Steak and Shake and planned our summer bucket list over burgers and milkshakes. It's a restaurant we never eat at, but one that's nostalgic to me, so it already felt like a special treat. Dreaming up our summer plans over milkshakes was a fun way to commemorate and celebrate the transition into summer break. The second is also meal-related. On our last day of our summer family vacation, I shocked our family when I poured spaghetti and meatballs directly onto the tablecloth.
Wow.
And encouraged the family to dig in. It was a fun way to end on a silly, memorable note. I'm still deciding whether the tradition is around meatballs on the table or simply some kind of wacky, unexpected dinner experience. But there's some nugget of tradition magic in there.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love the end of school and the bucket list. That's lovely. And then the spaghetti and meatballs on the table, that does feel...
Yes.
That feels edgy.
Yeah, that's beyond breakfast for dinner.
That's beyond breakfast for dinner. It reminds me of Pirate Night, which we used to do sometimes, which is when you eat with your fingers. And Pirate Night was fun, but this even goes further than Pirate Night. And I will say, if you go in the wacky food traditions, there is a lot you can do with food coloring.
Yes.
I have used food coloring in many, many different ways, and there's a lot of stuff that you can do to make food wacky with the right kind of food coloring. So have fun as your traditions unfold.
Yes.
And then Jen said, as I settle into my empty nest / open door phase, I've actively tried new things socially, and now you've given me a name for it, building my social muscle. My two best social muscle exercises: First, my new rule for work parties or gatherings is to greet the host or guest of honor in the first 15 minutes and say goodbye to at least 5 people. I had a habit of doing the Irish goodbye. Now, Alyssa, do you know what an Irish goodbye is?
Yes, it's when you just slip out without saying goodbye to anyone. Yes.
But what's funny is some people call it an Irish goodbye, but it's also known as the French exit. But in France, it's called leaving the English way. And in Germany, it's known as the Polish exit. So everybody points a finger and everybody's doing it, which is when you just leave without saying goodbye. And I think, Elizabeth, you and Sarah had something about leave 10 minutes later. Or yeah, what was your rule?
Yes, stay 10 more minutes. That when you're ready to go, stay 10 more minutes because you don't know what might happen in the last 10 minutes.
Right. So by saying goodbye to 5 people, you really make sure that you touch base with a lot of people. That's a great idea. And then her second suggestion is saying, I'm going to XXX on X day. Do you want to join me? Has been a game changer. It's giving me courage and no throwing around of dates. So I like that. I just today texted Eliza and Eleanor and I'm like, I'm going to visit the Earth Room on Friday, sometime between noon and 3. Do you want to come with me? And it's like, you either do or you don't. And there's no negotiation. And it's on my 26 for 26 list. I decided this Friday was going to be the day I was going to go. Come if you want.
Yes, it is very helpful just not to have that back and forth.
But one thing I want to say about social muscles is people have a very different idea of what they want their social life to look like. Some people want to have a lot of plans with a lot of different people. Some people want to have fewer plans with just like a few deep connections. We're not saying everybody has to have the same social life or end up in the same place. It's just that, are you able to have the kind of social life that you want? And sometimes people would like to step it up a bit. And so exercising your social muscle is wherever your muscle takes you.
Yes. Yeah. It came about because I really get a lot out of seeing people and having connections, and I really wasn't doing it much. So I have been wanting to build my social muscles.
Yes.
Because I know I'll be happier.
Exactly.
But that's not true for everyone.
Right.
Gretchen, Shane had a comment about our ongoing remote control discussion. Said, I have had the same issue with not being able to figure out the remote controls on the TVs in my home. For some reason, they are all different. I found something that works very well and wanted to suggest it. I typed a tiny cheat sheet for each one and taped it onto the back of the remote. It works great. Well, you did that at your weekend house.
Yes.
And it works beautifully because I have followed those directions.
I was astonished that you and Adam could literally just follow the directions and it would work. I'm like, oh my gosh, is this true? But can I just say that it is a design principle that if people are taping signs to things, you have a bad design. If your door is like got a huge push thing on it, people want to pull on that door. Why do you have to tape a sign on it that says push?
Yeah.
But we're stuck with whatever we're stuck with. And so, yeah, I think that's a great idea. Even if you're the one looking at the instructions over and over again, it'll spare you the frustration even as well as your guests.
Absolutely.
And this week, our try this at home suggestion is to do what I call a self-stakeout. Okay, this is something I made up. I even thought of another name for it. I love them both so much, but I think my favorite is the self-stakeout.
All right, Chris, this cracks me up before I even know exactly what it entails.
Yeah.
I love the idea of a stakeout.
You know how sometimes you do something without even realizing that you do it? So I realized that I have this funny, odd mental habit of imagining that I am being investigated or that somebody's watching me. And every so often I'll be thinking like, how am I using my time and who am I meeting with? And in particular, I often think with my texts with Jamie, if a detective was looking at our text chain, would they say that I was suspicious? Or they'd be like, oh, what a loving wife Gretchen is. They have such a good relationship. Anyway, so I often have this thing of looking at myself from the outside as if I were being investigated. And I actually think that this can be a really useful thing to do because what would somebody think if they saw how you were spending your time? What would they think if they saw who you were meeting with? What would they think if they saw what you were spending your money on and how much you were spending your money on? What would they think if they were looking at your habits? Over and over, we've talked about this idea of looking at ourselves from the outside, distant self-talk, when you talk to yourself as if you're a different person, we see ourselves differently when we think of ourselves as someone else or when we see ourselves from the outside.
Yeah, I think people also like to think of themselves being observed by aliens. People will often
Well, there
say,
you go.
what would aliens think of this behavior?
Yes, yeah.
Because it gives you
Yes.
that just window into what you're doing.
Now, sometimes I think it can go too far and can make you very self-conscious. But for me, at least, it's sort of a helpful thing. Okay, but then Elizabeth, we have our Treat Yourself Like series,
Yes.
which for some reason I've really locked into lately. Like, I love this. I'm like, can I write a whole book about treat yourself like? No, because there's not enough ideas. But I do love this. And I was thinking, okay, if you were going to treat yourself in this context. So I was thinking of all the different words you could say. Now, treat yourself like a suspect. I mean, that's just too criminal, right? Nobody wants to treat themselves like a suspect. And then there's treat yourself like a subject. But it turns out that I think the best term is treat yourself like a person of interest.
I like that. So a person of interest is an investigative term used by law enforcement to describe an individual who may have information related to a crime or some connection to the event. It is not a formal legal status and does not imply guilt, but rather indicates that police are actively watching the individual.
Right.
I love that.
And I think we're all a person of interest. I'm interested in you. You should be interested in me. I'm interested in myself. I'm a person of interest.
Yes.
But the self-stakeout is, you imagine that somebody's staking you out.
Yes.
If they were going to spend a day sitting in a parked car outside your house with a set of binoculars and a notepad and a thermos full of coffee, like some TV show, what would they think?
Yeah. And so the idea is if you feel like a little chagrined about
Yes.
what they would be observing, maybe you want to think about what you're doing and put your time other places or not write that text about your coworker.
Yeah.
Spend a little more time reading or something
Yeah.
if you want to be observed
Right.
in the way that you are proud of.
Right.
How are you acting?
Right. What does the detective report look like?
Yeah.
So I think it's fun.
It is fun.
Has that ever occurred to you, Elizabeth, to think like that of yourself?
It hasn't really. The only part of it that has occurred to me, because this happens to people, is thinking about having my text messages subpoenaed, but that's more like an actual thing that happens.
Okay, can I just say, you and I both know more than one example where somebody's texts became public in a way that they were not excited about.
And you don't have to be directly involved.
No.
You can just be related in
Yes.
some tangential way and get your text subpoenaed.
Yes.
But I do think a lot of people, and probably I do this, see themselves sometimes as like a movie character,
Yes.
that third eye, like
Yeah.
what is the main character of your life doing now?
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of us have an element of this, but I
Yes.
don't think of myself as being investigated.
Okay. Investigated in a nice way.
Yes.
I don't mean,
Yes.
not in a suspicious way.
Person of interest.
Interested way. Anyway, let us know if you do try this at home. Is this something that resonates with you? Is this just like a super quirky thing that I have? And which term do you like? Self-stakeout or treat yourself like a person of interest? Let us know on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook. Drop us an email at podcast@GretchenRubin.com. Or as always, you can go to the show notes, happiercast.com/598 for everything related to this episode. And Elizabeth, I have to say, the big 600, it's coming up.
Yes. All right, Gretchen, coming up in this episode, we have a happiness hack to help you convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. But first, this break.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. You've heard us talk about BetterHelp for a long time, but one thing we haven't talked about very much is just how much people seem to appreciate the service once they start using it. If you're curious, you don't have to take our word for it. You can visit betterhelp.com/reviews and see real customer reviews that are updated every day. It's interesting to scroll through and see what people are saying about their own experiences.
BetterHelp has an average live therapy session rating of 4.9 out of 5 based on more than 1.7 million client session reviews, and more than 6 million people have used BetterHelp globally. If you're thinking about getting started, you answer a few questions, get matched with a therapist based on your needs, and if it's not the right fit, you can switch therapists at any time. See the reviews, see what stands out, and see if BetterHelp is right for you. Visit betterhelp.com/Gretchen Rubin. That's BetterHelp.com/Gretchen Rubin.
There are days when I open my closet and somehow I feel like I have nothing to wear. I don't enjoy spending hours shopping, and I definitely don't want to guess what's in style every season. This podcast is sponsored by Daily Look, the #1 highest rated premium personal styling service for women. What I love is that my stylist is a real person, not an algorithm, and she gets to know my style over time. I actually wore one of my Daily Look tops to a meeting last week, and it was one of those outfits that just made me feel put together without any effort.
Daily Look sends up to 12 premium pieces chosen just for you based on your body shape, preferences, and lifestyle. You try everything on at home, keep what you love, send back the rest, and shipping is free both ways. It's time to get your own personal stylist with Daily Look. Head to dailylook.com to take your style quiz and use code HAPPIER for 50% off your first order. Once again, that's dailylook.com for 50% off, and make sure you use our promo code HAPPIER so they know we sent you. One last time, dailylook.com and promo code HAPPIER.
Between diets, workouts, and endless advice, it's hard to know what actually works for weight loss and what's worth your time. That's why Hers offers access to an affordable range of FDA-approved GLP-1 medications that now includes the Wegovy pill and the Wegovy pen. It helps you regulate your appetite, eat less, and keep weight off. Plus, Wegovy is the first ever GLP-1 for weight loss, so there are no needles needed.
Everything is 100% online through Hers. You'll connect with a licensed provider who will determine if treatment is right for you. Ready to reach your goals? Visit forhers.com/happier to get personalized, affordable care that gets you. That's forhers.com/happier. forhers.com/happier. Weight loss by Hers is not available in all 50 states. Wegovy is a registered trademark of Novo Nordisk AS. To get started and learn more, including important safety information, Wegovy clinical study information, and restrictions, visit forhers.com. All right, Gretchen, we're back with this week's happiness hack. It's very practical.
Yes.
Good for anyone who may be traveling in Europe this summer from the United States.
Yes, Jamie and I went on a couples weekend in Nova Scotia with his best friend from college. We had a lovely, lovely time, but we were in Canada, which meant that we were in the land of Celsius. And Elizabeth, I remember that you and I had this issue when we were on our hiking trip because we had no sense.
Yeah.
We all knew that 0 is freezing, but then it's hard to go from there. And there's formulas that you can use, but it involves doing math. And if there's one thing I don't like to do, it's to do math, especially math in my head. So I learned a mnemonic. And you know, nothing makes me happier than a good mnemonic.
Yes, especially if it has a rhyme to it.
A rhyming mnemonic is lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, truer and better words were never spoken.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you do not know Celsius, 0 is freezing, 10 is not, 20 is warm, 30 is hot. So 0 in Fahrenheit is 32 degrees. So that is freezing. And that's the point of Celsius is 0 is freezing. 10 is 50 degrees. So it's not freezing, but it's cool. 20 is 68. So it's warm. And 30 is 86. That's not terribly hot, but it's approaching hot.
That's pretty hot.
It's getting pretty hot. So 0 is freezing, 10 is not. 20 is warm, 30 is hot. I like it.
Very useful. I'm going to commit that to memory, Gretchen.
Good, 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 good.
Okay, now it is time for a Know Yourself Better question.
Yes, as I've discussed, I'm working on my book, Project Empty Nest, coming out July 13th, 2027, all about the empty nest phase, which I am reclaiming as the open door period of life. And so I've been doing a lot of talking to people, thinking about people, observing what people are doing with their lives. And as I have been talking to and observing parents going through the open door empty nest phase, I've noticed that they fall into 3 broad camps: relaxers, rekindlers, and reinventors.
Okay, so explain each one.
Okay. So relaxers are people, they're ready to slow down. They're ready to simplify. Maybe they want to downsize. They really want to enjoy the quiet. They want to spend time doing fun things. Maybe there's a hobby that they haven't had time for and now they do. They want to spend more time with family and friends. This is the person that is just wanting to slow down and relax. Then the rekindlers are people who want to throw themselves into something that they've set aside. So they're not doing it in kind of a light, relaxing way. They're really going hard. So some people say things like, I never could travel for work because I wanted to be home with my kids, but now I'm traveling for work all the time. Or we're going out all the time doing social plans. Or I'm traveling to see friends that I haven't seen in a long time. Or I'm training for marathons again, or I'm going for super long bike rides because I can be gone all day. Really going hard in some aspect of their life and something that they couldn't pursue as enthusiastically as they wanted to. And now they have that time and that energy. So they're rekindling something.
And then what about the reinventors?
Okay, so the reinventors are the people who want to do something completely new. And this is, at least to me, I have been surprised by how common this is. I would have thought it wouldn't have been that common. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just thought, like by this time, most people are not going to just do a big reinvention. It's not that unusual. Among my own friends, I know somebody who got married. I know somebody who published her first novel. I know somebody who took an unpaid but very demanding role at a nonprofit. I know somebody who went back to school. I know people who have started the process of switching careers. This reinvention certainly is possible, and I think it's more common than people might imagine.
Well, one, I love that it is more common than we think and that it is possible to reinvent yourself at that stage of life.
Yeah.
And when I thought about it, Gretchen, our own mom is really in the reinventor category. She took on a whole new career planning museum trips after we both graduated and had a whole long career doing that.
No, exactly. And we didn't see it coming.
So what do you think you and Jamie are, Gretchen?
Well, I think Jamie and I are both the same, and I think we're both rekindlers. We're both doing more along the lines of what we've been doing, sort of deeper and harder. And so Jamie's always been super interested in policy and city issues. He took on a significant new role, a volunteer role. He started a podcast called After Hours, where he'd never had a podcast before. So he's doing what he always did, but in kind of like a bigger way, a more intense way, and new ways that are an extension of what he was already doing. And I think for me, the same, I'm going to more conferences. You and I love a conference, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
I'm going to all these conferences. I'm a writer, but I'm also a podcaster. I'm also a newsletter writer. I'm a speaker, all these things going forward in intensity. One of the things that Jamie and I have talked about is that we both love to work, but just working all the time isn't a good life. And one thing about having kids is they act as a curb on that in a really good way. And so Jamie and I have talked about the fact we can't just work all the time. So how do we build that in?
Well, it's nice that you do have your weekend house now, because I do think that not forces you, but encourages you to take the weekend off and relax, whereas before you may have just worked through it completely.
You're exactly right. And I didn't anticipate that, but it's putting us in that context, which is like, it's weekend. Jamie cooks more. He puts on music. I will often read for like many, many, many hours, which in a way, when I'm at home, I get distracted by doing something more. Now, you know me, I love a category. I love a framework that divides people. And some people really object to that. They really just say, life isn't so easy. People aren't so simple. You can't say there's 3 categories because there's just so many facets to human nature. It's too crude. And I'll say this very questioner thing to say. I get it. And of course they are crude, but I do think that there is value in having a shorthand vocabulary that can allow people to communicate succinctly a difference. Because you can imagine, like in a married couple, one person could say, hey, I get that you're a rekindler with work, but I'm more tapping into my relaxer. Or someone might be like, oh, I'm surprised that all of a sudden, like you're busting out with this whole new career pivot. I feel like taking it easy. Oh, but I see that you're more of a reinventor in this space. I think it's helpful. And here's my secret of adulthood about this, because people say this to me all the time. A continuum may be more accurate, but the mind craves categories. They are simpler to grasp and are more powerful in the mind.
Yes, categories can take hold.
Yes. My book, Secrets of Adulthood, that one was too much of just an observation, so it didn't get into Secrets of Adulthood. But it's not a dark secret, so it didn't even make it into my bleak aphorisms collection. So that is a little secret of adulthood that I have never been able to share before. So that makes me very happy to be able to, yes, love that.
Okay, Gretch, coming up, I give myself a reading demerit, but first, this break.
I always feel like August is a good time to reset before the fall season, which is so busy. I don't necessarily want a whole new wardrobe. I just want a few pieces that make getting dressed easier. That is why I have become such a fan of Quince. Their clothes are beautifully made, timeless, and they feel like the kind of pieces you reach for again and again.
Quince works directly with ethical factories and cuts out the middlemen, so everything is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Their premium stretch denim starts at just $50, and they also have beautiful bedding, all kinds of stuff for your home and travel. Gretchen, I got Jack a set of luggage from Quince, and he loves it. Upgrade your everyday. Go to quince.com/Gretchen for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada and the UK too. That's QUINCE.com/Gretchen for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Gretchen. Have you ever noticed that some of the most meaningful moments in life come from helping someone else? It's easy to think that changing the world requires doing something extraordinary, but sometimes lasting change begins with something much smaller, helping one child overcome the barriers that stand between them and an education. That's what Children Incorporated has been doing for more than 60 years.
By partnering with trusted volunteer coordinators who know the children and families in their own communities, Children Incorporated helps provide essentials like clothing, shoes, nutritious food, school supplies, and hygiene items, giving children the support they need to stay in school and build brighter futures. The surprising thing about generosity is that it changes everyone involved. If you've been looking for a simple, meaningful way to make a lasting difference, visit childrenincorporated.org to choose a child to sponsor today. I definitely have a tendency to wear my glasses longer than I probably should. But, once I find a pair I like, I just keep fixing the little things instead of replacing them because new glasses can get expensive fast. That's why I was so impressed with Zenni. I picked out a classic pair with clean modern frames that look much more expensive than they were. The whole process was incredibly easy. You just choose your frames, enter your prescription, customize your lenses. They arrive at your door.
What I love is that Zenni makes it affordable to have more than one pair. They have stylish prescription glasses and sunglasses starting at under $30. I love my prescription Zenni sunglasses. I've been wearing them every week to hike. That scratched up pair you have has done its job. Upgrade today with Zenni. Go to zenni.com/podcast and use code podcast15 for 15% off your first order plus free shipping on all U.S. orders over $65. The styles sell out, so don't sit on it. That's zenni.com/podcast, promo code podcast15.
Now it's time for Demerits and Gold Stars. And here's a mnemonic, listeners. If it's an even-numbered episode, it's Elizabeth who talks about a demerit. If it's an odd-numbered episode, I talk about a demerit. We take turns. This is an even-numbered episode, Elizabeth, which means that it is your turn to talk about a demerit.
Yes. So, Gretchen, my demerit is that I just haven't been reading as much as I wanted to or thought I would this summer. So I do think of summer as a time for reading.
Yes.
Summer reading lists I love, beach reading books I love. I love sitting outside and reading.
Well, I think your favorite thing in the world, right, Elizabeth, is to sit on the beach with a book. Right, yeah.
No, the pool.
The pool.
I'm more of a pool person.
Okay,
yes.
all right.
I haven't done that once this summer, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
So I have gotten some reading in, but I just haven't had that feeling of just losing myself in a book for hours. Sarah and I went to Hawaii once, right after we had started working in television. And we just got up and read every day for like 12 hours with one excursion to swim with sea turtles in the middle. It was reading. And it was one of my favorite trips ever because there was just nothing stopping us. And we were reading just what we wanted to read.
Yes.
Like I remember that's when I read The Devil Wears Prada, which was a fun book. And so I don't know. Look, I'm having a great summer. I'm having my summer of off-white delight. I'm having my summer of setting aside worry. But I've been very caught up in my podcast. Now, I did recently talk about my love of monoculture this summer. It may be, now that I'm thinking of it, that the monoculture has created a lot of podcast content that I've been listening to. So maybe that has
crowded out.
The downside is maybe it's crowded out my reading because I do love listening to people talk about whatever's happening in the monoculture.
Well, and the reading retreat, I mean, you and Sarah, you had a reading retreat before you had a name for it.
Yes.
And we've been wanting to do it. But so we had this idea. Our vision was that I'd be coming to Los Angeles. We would add days onto it. We'd go within driving distance of your house, and that's how we would do it. But part of the problem is that I haven't had a reason to go to Los Angeles, but we've seen each other a lot because you've been coming east, but not in something that would lend itself to adding a reading retreat onto it. So we have sort of this floating, I think if we had the reading retreat, you and I would both really scratch that itch for just a couple days of just hard, deep reading, which is so deeply satisfying.
Although when you say not hard, not difficult deep reading, just
intense.
Yes.
Enduring hour after hour after hour. That was such a clever way to set it up, but maybe that's just too limited.
Yeah.
But it seemed like there for a while I was coming to Los Angeles a lot. Maybe this is just this odd spell when I haven't been coming to Los Angeles.
Yes.
Because our plan was so clever.
Yes. We need to maybe re-examine.
Yeah.
There's more summer left, so I'm hoping, as always, that by voicing this out loud, talking about it, I'll encourage myself to pick up the reading for the rest of summer and enjoy that.
Well, and maybe just what you want is a day by the pool.
Yeah.
Just go for a day. And since that is your iconic summer experience.
Of course, I do have a pool, Gretchen. I could read by my own pool.
That's not the same,
but it's
right?
just not the same. It's not the same.
I forgot you do have a pool. That's funny. That is funny. No, it has to be somebody else's pool.
Yeah.
It may have to be like an institutional pool.
Yeah.
This is a hotel pool, or like this is a
Yes.
public pool. This is some pool. Yeah.
You can buy day passes to hotel pools.
Elizabeth,
that's an LA thing.
You
I
should do that. You should buy a day pass to the best pool and go there.
With a book I really want to read.
Read a book you really want to read and just glut yourself on reading by a pool. That's a super luxury experience. You would feel like it was so incredibly indulgent to do that. I wonder how much the day passes are. Are they just bonkers expensive or they're not so much?
I think it depends on the place, but I think you can get one probably for $50. I'm guessing would be the cheapest.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I'll look into that.
Well, if anybody's done that, let us know, because I think that could be a way to have, like, I'm thinking about somebody who feels like they're heading toward Elijah Rebellion.
Yes.
What's something that you could do that would feel like, whoa, I really indulged myself. I really stepped out of my life, but in a way that's manageable and not so expensive.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have money to blow, but it feels very luxurious. But also you just drive there. It's very manageable.
Yeah, and you don't spend the night.
And you don't spend the night. You don't have to pack. You don't have to travel. Interesting.
Yeah.
And there's so many fabulous hotels in Los Angeles.
Yes, with great pools.
With great pools.
Okay, Gretch, how about you? What is your gold star this week?
Okay, I'm going to give myself a gold star because the most important thing in my life is my computer, my desktop and my laptop. And I have all kinds of systems to back up what I write in all different ways. I have multiple monitors, each of which is precious to me. My brain is in my computer. From morning to night, I am in my computer in some way. I love it. I love a keyboard. I am a master typist. I'm a super fast
You
typer.
are.
Yeah, because I was a temp and you got paid more if you could type faster. So I got very fast in my typing. I wake up first thing in the morning, come right to my computer, start. That's when I do my most intense intellectual work. So sitting down at the computer first thing and starting work is very important to me. And my keyboard didn't work.
Ooh.
I sat down and the computer turned on. I could do the thing where you put the keyboard on the screen.
Yeah.
So I could get the computer to do what I wanted, but I couldn't figure out what to do with the keyboard. And I had a dim recollection that this had happened once before. And I had to sit here and retrace the mental effort of what had happened. It was funny because it was like the things where my mind did all the things that it did before that didn't work, right? I couldn't skip over those. So first I was like, do I need to change the batteries in the mouse? And then I'm like, but it's not the mouse. I feel like it's the mouse, but is it actually the keyboard? And then I'm like, do I have to change batteries of the keyboard? No, because I have a wired keyboard. Okay, could the wiring have come out? And painfully go through all these steps, but I did it. And I reconnected the keyboard myself in less than 20 minutes. But the thing that I'm giving myself the gold star for is I did not panic. I did not take my emotional response to 11. I didn't let myself feel like, oh, I'm wasting so much valuable time. This is my most valuable time. And here I am just doing this like grunt work. Why don't these things work? I didn't panic thinking, oh my gosh, my computer's broken. I'm never going to use it again. Something terrible has happened. I just stayed calm. Let's just troubleshoot. This is the kind of thing where it's, well, first of all, it's hard to use my computer, but it's hard to ask a question because you don't even know how to explain the problem.
Yeah.
What's a significant fact here? Is it the model that I'm using? Is it how it's wired in? I don't know. But not to get into all of the technical things, which I'm sure to anybody who knows what they're doing was like incredibly obvious and basic and would have taken them 2 minutes. But it was hard for me, but I stayed calm and I did it. And I was very, very proud of myself.
Well, good job, because that is a time when I also would start running around like a chicken with my head cut off, like panicking, yelling at people.
Yeah, right.
Starting one thing, then going to another, having no focus.
Yes.
It makes me think of, what is that saying? Go slow to go fast.
Yeah, go slow to go fast. Yeah.
And it sounds like that's what you did.
Yes, that's exactly right. The fact is, getting worked up doesn't help. It only makes you feel worse. It only makes you feel more rattled. The staying calm just makes it easier. And then also the thing that was nice, and I hadn't anticipated this, is that then when I came back to my computer, I was already in a calm state. I could focus, because have you ever had this thing where you're so worked up, you're so distraught that even once the problem's resolved, you're too mentally restless. It takes a long time to get your mind back into a calm state.
Gold star, Gretchen.
It was a personal triumph for me. I've come a long way, because years ago I spilled coffee on my keyboard, and that is still a legend in our family for how I reacted to that. Yes.
I have no doubt.
The resource for this week. Okay, we love whimsy. It's fun to add whimsy to chores or to ordinary tasks. It just makes it more fun to do all the stuff that we've got to get done. So there is a bingo card. We love a bingo card. So with this bingo card, instead of facing one big project, you complete small challenges. And as you go, you fill in the squares and you see, of course, if you can get bingo. It is a surprisingly fun way to get your momentum going. And on my site, you can find bingo cards for everything from creativity to decluttering, lots of bingo cards there. Plus, there's all kinds of other worksheets and resources, more than you would ever want at happiercast.com/resources. So go there, poke around. There's a lot to find. Elizabeth, what are we reading? What are you reading? Not by a pool, but nevertheless.
I am still reading This American Ex-Wife, How I Ended My Marriage and Started My Life by Liz Lenz.
And no surprise, I am reading The Diaries of Virginia Woolf, Volume 3. And that's it for this episode of Happier. Remember to try this at home. Do a self-stakeout, or if you prefer, treat yourself like a person of interest. Let us know if you tried it and if it worked for you.
Thank you to our executive producer, Chuck Reed, and everyone at Lemonada.
And here's your rhyming reminder. And remember, we're not just saying these things. We're not just rhyming them so they are mnemonics. We actually would like for you to do this.
Yes.
Fan of the podcast? Review it fast.
Until next week, I'm Elizabeth Kraft.
And I'm Gretchen Rubin. Thanks for joining us. Onward and upward.
So, Gretchen, how many volumes are there in Virginia Woolf's diaries?
5. There are 5 volumes.
Okay, so you're well on track to get through all of them by the end of summer.
Yeah, it's a very particular kind of reading, but I'm really enjoying it.
I see you.
Avatar: Fire and Ash is now streaming on Disney+. It's the film critics are calling the best Avatar yet.
Yeah! Go, 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 go!
A true epic and completely jaw-dropping.
This is the only pure thing in this world.
Return to Pandora on Disney+.
It will be an adventure for the whole family.
And watch the Oscar-winning phenomenon at home.
This is sick!
Avatar: Fire and Ash, now streaming on Disney+. Rated PG-13.